Here at the confluence of the Saedon and the Mekong River, the Chinese community that settled here around the time that the French established Pakse city as a commercial and administrative hub around 1905, the establishment of Pakse. The Chinese needed some place to not only get their beliefs met, or their desires to their beliefs met, but also as a community hub, a place where people could gather of their own grouping, and a community where they could take care of the sick and the elderly. As said, this was a commercial hub due to its location. Basically the closest bigger town between Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand. And so in 1914 this temple complex was erected. It is called Wat Phoxay, or as the Chinese called it, the Fukiek Shrine, or the Fukiek Shrine. It sits at a beautiful spot just outside the old town of Ta Luang, and it's a very active temple still, although during the takeover of the Pratet Lao, when basically the communist principles were introduced, the freedom of religion, or the religious practices, were mostly banned. And there was a large exodus, not only by the Chinese, but obviously the royalty, Lao, but also the enormous amount of people that were brought in by the French from Vietnam to do their work as administrators and the like. As it's close to Chinese, just after Chinese New Year, there have been a lot of activity and worshipping rituals performed in those days, and till today, and probably the coming few days, this will continue. Chinese New Year comes together with the Vietnamese Tet, and so this whole community is quite active, worshipping their deities at that time. Cleaning going on to provide a nice clean place for worshippers to come. The Chinese were mainly occupied in the region with trade, like rice trade and forestry and other commerce stuff. And this temple is built in the traditional southern Chinese architecture, from which most of the Chinese that settled here came from. The temple is dedicated to the Chinese earth god, or Fude Zhengshen, and it's believed that these big beams holding up the ceiling have actually been transported here by all the way from China to make it as authentic as possible. I'm going out because there's a lot of people still practicing their religious performances. The entrance to the temple, not only here but also outside at the gate, is protected by the two lions to fend off evil spirits. And all around on the outside as well, there's little shrines where people burn essence and deposit their gifts or offerings to the deities. And I come here more often, and it's a very well kept and cleaned temple complex. It's a very nice place to just also come and relax, sit along the riverside, either at the Mekong or at the Sedon. This traditional southern Chinese temple, by the way, is dedicated to Taoism and Mahayana Buddhism. So in that sense it stands out a little bit from the Theravada Buddhist community that dominates Laos and, for that matter, Thailand at the moment. This temple reminds me a lot of the Wat Phoxay on Phuket, which I now think is dedicated to the similar god of Fuktak, and the god of prosperity and virtue, or the earth god. The Chinese also established a community building in town, which is a lot photographed for its outstanding architecture and well kept. The little plaza in the front, and that belonged to the same group of worshippers. As said, we're now basically at the gate towards the temple complex, and you see again the lions to protect against evil spirits. And the nicely decorated Chinese style dragon heads and scriptures at the entrance of the temple. I guess that's it for Fukiek Temple or Shrine, and I'll try to make a little bit more videos of the different churches and temples that we can find in Pakse. Till the next one. Different location, different religion. This is the Apostolic Vicariate Church in Pakse. Established on the 12th of June 1967, and I read that it's a split off, and I don't know what they mean by that, of the cathedral, the iconic white church in Savannakhet. It does look relatively new. I mean, if you look at the bricks and the roofing, I don't know if that was ever rebuilt. They even created a little cave with some images. It is Sunday morning, so I would reckon there will be some services planned today. Let's see if we are allowed in. Nice ornate windows. I think everything is in readiness for Mass. There's only a few people in. From what I've read, there's over 20,000 practicing Catholics still in the regions, in town and in the direct surroundings. From what I read, this was not only the church established at the time, but also living quarters for a leper community around here. The first vicar from records on the web was Jean-Pierre Urquia from 1967 till 1975. The church is located in the town center, among a lot of government buildings. But obviously the church or the Catholics had to fight the same restrictions after 75 when the Pathet Lao took control. This is a view from the inside, from the front of the church. And apparently there's modern, even tourists will come. I don't know, I haven't seen any notification when Mass is, but probably that's the same times as anywhere else in the world. I reckon that must be Maria. Guardian of the Bibles. And the entrance door ornaments decorated in local style, I guess. There's not really too much happening at the moment, but I might be a little too late. But as I said, this church was erected in 1967 by the French, an organization that they call the MEP, or the Paris Foreign Missionary Society, and who actually settled here already way back in 1878. And I said at the beginning mainly cared for the leper communities, which is, by the way, still happening. There's a little village on the road to the 4,000 islands that houses, I've been told, somewhere in the region of 2,000, 2,500 lepers, and it's still been taken care of by Christians, Catholics mainly. It obviously is a iconic structure in a place like Pakse, or in a place like Laos, actually, in further north than Vientiane, by my knowledge, you don't see any churches anymore. They were probably forbidden after the Pratet Lao took over. And for those who don't know, in principle, communism and religion cannot coincide. Although after the takeover by the communist Pratet Lao, and all the religions were forbidden, not very long after, the Pratet Lao decided to allow Buddhism, then in the form of Theravada as their previous capital of Luang Prabang, basically made of Buddhism. And later on, the restrictions were eased on, for among other religions, the Catholics, and obviously also the Chinese and the Vietnamese Taoism, and worship of several other deities. I guess this is it for the church in Pakse. Oh, maybe I should mention that the current bishop is Andrew Suksavat Nuom Asa. Now, I do not know in what sense he could or is not, but related to the history of Pu Asa, which was claimed to be a Thai monk who the folks are coming in now. Catholicism is now mainly practiced in Laos by ethnic minorities, so not the Lao Lum people, but mainly ethnic minorities from little villages all around. And okay, that's it. Catholic Church. Here another temple complex. I think this will be also Taoism. According to the name, I think it's a Vietnamese temple. This one is located along the Sedon River, a little bit upstream from the Chinese temple on the corner. A nice kept shrine as well. Don't know what this would look like. Well, have a little look inside, if we may. Sabai. Very much in operation. I leave these gentle people to their worshipping. Let's have a look at some more of the premises. Really lovely setting here in the old village. Old wooden house. And statues of the deities. See, they've built a wall here. That's a recent development along the Sedon. A lot of construction happening outside the little peninsula of Ban Taluang. The canteen quarter. The Vietnamese also have a strong society in Pakse. Obviously, from the times that the French took them all in here to work in their administrations. Here they take care of their own people quite well. I provide foods and community works. and a lot of ancestral worshipping as well. So this is the Vietnamese worshipping shrine. According to the entrance gate, it was erected in 1998. So not all that old. Yet nonetheless interesting, I would say. All right, up to the next one.